It's Q3. We're actually 3 weeks into Q3 and I still have not set up my Kanban board. So let this be a reminder to you that it is never too late to create a plan that feels realistic and feels motivating. I'm so excited to reset this board. I spent the last couple of days resetting this room and this space, which is something I love to do, just cleaning things up, getting things ready, making my spaces feel fresh and new. And now I'm going to reset my board, reset my Notion, reset my goals. Now, I actually did my planning for Q3 back in June with the June round of the HB90 bootcamp, but I didn't get a chance to reset my board. And there's a reason behind that because I have been more focused this past month on my family than on my work, and it has been lovely. But we are approaching August pretty quickly, and I want to make sure everything is set to go for August because my very sweet 3, almost 4-year-old Evie will be going to school for the first time. And I have been very blessed to have her home with me 24/7 for the past 3.5 years. So it's going to be an emotional transition, and I wanted to get the most out of my summer with them. Andrew's birthday was in June. So we have been enjoying June and July as a family, going to the zoo, going to the jump place, going to Kalahari Resort, which I highly recommend. Super, super fun. Going to the beach, having adventures. It's just been wonderful. I also went on a mastermind retreat to San Diego with Amber McHugh and some of my business besties, which I did record some of that. So I'll share that soon. So it has been busy, but it has not been as focused. I've mostly been just making sure I get my YouTube videos up, and I've been working on my edits of my novel, which I'll talk about more coming up as well. But I haven't been like super, super goal task oriented. And I think it's important to note that you can still get things done and you can still take the time that you want to take with your family when it's summer or Christmas or whatever. We don't have to be working 24/7 full force at all times. We can take that time off and we can still maintain our careers and we can still maintain our social media with just a little bit of effort when we're focused. And that's the whole reason that I have developed and kind of tweaked different productivity systems to create the HB90 system, is to allow me to continue to invite joy and ease into my life and also get so focused that I can get a lot done. I'm not always perfect at it. I'm never perfect at it, but it's a journey and it's a process. And so I'm going to take you with me on the journey. So let's take a look as I reset my office, reset my spaces, and then we're going to talk about how I did in Q2 and review that. And then we're going to reset this board. So let's have some fun.
Toxic. Somehow you're fine with it, even when I'm chaotic. You see the shade in the cold, it's just my bad temper. What am I supposed to do when the flames going high with my bad patience? I hate it always falls on you. But you know it's not about our love fading. You know it's not about. You know it's not about our love ending. You know it's not about. to do. When the flame's going high with my bad patience, I hate it always falls on you. But you know it's not about our love fading. You know it's not about, yeah. You know it's not about our love ending. You know it's not about us. You know it's not about us. You know it's not about us. You know it's not about us.
Okay, moving into the living room where Evie is going to take a screen break and she's going to work on some of her sensory box. Did you get the ocean one? So she's going to play with this while I do my sticky notes. You want to smile? Yeah, you're a sweet girl. So we have a baseball game tonight. It is so busy, and I think that's one of the reasons that I have had trouble getting everything reset, because it's summer and I want to enjoy my time with the kids. So I am not feeling guilty at all about being a little bit like later than I wanted to be setting things up in terms of the Kanban board. I've still been getting work done. I've been working on my edits. Things are moving forward, but it's important for me to set it up. But I'm just trying to get the in-between times and not sacrifice any of my time with my kids. And I will be doing a video coming up on intentional sacrifice versus unintentional sacrifice and what that means in terms of your goals and your priorities. So that'll be coming up sometimes in the next couple of months, because it's been on my mind a lot. But I am going to spend a little bit of time with her, talk. I have my iPad set up here, which is where I have my digital planner that I have my HB90 digital planner on, and I have all my tasks and goals and everything listed, because I finished all of these goals and all the planning before the quarter began. I just didn't set up my Kanban board yet. So I have all my sticky notes here, and I am going to set those up and write those. Good job. I'm going to write those while Evie plays. We have ordered pizza. It will be here in about 30 minutes. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of pizza. And Andrew will be home from his Roblox coding camp, and then we'll be going to a baseball game. It is 106 degrees, and it is still supposed to be 104 when the game starts. So I'm a little concerned. We're taking some fans. We're taking those like chili pad frog togs for the kids so that they can stay cool. But I guess this is life in Texas. Okay, so this is my 2023 goals planner. It's a digital planner that has the 50 pages of goal setting that are part of my HB90 system for every single quarter of the year, but it doesn't have daily planning pages. Now, you can also get an undated quarterly planner that just has one set of the 50 goal pages, and then it has daily and weekly planning pages. Now I use a hybrid. So I use the digital goals planner, which has the whole year worth of goals pages. And then I use the daily planner, which is just the quarterly planner printed in my A5 binder. And there's lots of different ways that you can do this. And I don't want this to be like a video about the planner, but just in case anybody was curious, if you prefer the daily planning and you like digital, there's an undated planner. I'll link all that stuff for you below. But if you like printed stuff, right now, the only option is printable that you can print in letter size or in A5 size. So those are all available in my Etsy shop. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put this goals planner at 50% off price because we're halfway through the year. So if you're interested in grabbing it, now would be a good time to kind of try it out if you have like an iPad or some other type of like smart device with a pencil or tablet. So here's my goals. So the first goal is always my writing goal. Now I set 3 goals every quarter, and for me, they're sort of like goal buckets. Yours could be completely different, but for me, goal number 1 is always my writing goal. Goal number 2 is always my Heart Breathings, YouTube and courses goal. Goal number 3 is always more like my personal life and routines and habits. So goal number 1 for me last quarter was to rediscover my joy and identity as a writer by increasing sales on my backlist by 20% and completing a new novel. So did I do it? Now you'll notice this one, I do have a number attached to it, 20%, and a project, complete the book. And we go into this in detail in the course of basically how to set these outcome goals and what are some alternatives if you can't really attach a number to something because of where you are or mental health. So I wanted to give myself really a goal of rediscovering my joy. And many of you have watched that journey here on YouTube. I called it the Writer Reset. And I have really done a good job of getting back to my joy. And I did complete the rough draft of my new novel. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take you over to my Kanban board and I'm going to show you how that goal went and what I got done. Now, part of the way, if you want to see it in practice, I've got the goal here. So you can see this is my goal number 1. So then I have these projects where I just brainstorm, like, what are the projects that I think I could complete this quarter that are going to actually help me hit that goal of rediscovering my joy, increasing my sales, and completing the novel. And then I wrote them down. Then I estimated how long they would take and wrote down how many task blocks, which is a 30-minute block of time, I think it would take for me to complete it. So that's part of the HB90 process. And I do that with all 3 of my goals, as well as my recurring tasks, which is something a lot of people forget, which is tasks that you are doing every day that aren't necessarily attached to your goals, like meeting with my assistant and having Accelerate and like administrative tasks and emails and stuff like that. So anyway, these are the projects that I ended up taking on. This is a list of them. And some of them got done better than others. I wanted to work on Project Phoenix, which is kind of trying to increase my backlist stuff. I will tell you right now, this project mostly did not get done because I ended up spending so much time on the rough draft of my book that I really didn't get started on this. So this will be something that will carry over into Q3 and that I'm working on now. I did do the social media though. I did not get newsletters started at all. I don't even think I sent a single newsletter. So that was a big no. I didn't publish the book. I didn't get to Q3 or didn't get to book 12. I did start working on audiobooks. I did start working on influencer campaign, but I didn't do any ads or promotions. So you can see that even though I worked really hard last quarter, I ended up spending so much more time than I thought on my draft. So I'll show you on a board. So let's go over to the board. Okay, so these are my 3 Kanban boards. This has been through an entire journey as well. So if you're new here, definitely go check out my playlist and you can see different examples. But like I was saying, a lot of times a Kanban board will be a single board and it's separated from left to right. I used to have it on a single board and it was separated from top to bottom. So the top is the to-do list, the middle is the doing, and then the bottom is the done section. But a couple of years ago when I was traveling, I had a board that I just separated my goals into 3 separate boards. So I loved it so much. I have adopted that here in my office because I love each goal having its own board. And I got these from arttoframe.com. I will link it down below. I customized the size of them and it was very cool. And then I just took the backing and covered it in contact paper and then separated it with washi tape. I love, love, love these boards. But let's look at goal number 1. So these were all the tasks and I was mostly focused on this goal. Like this was my heavy goal for the quarter. And like I said, I didn't get any of those extra projects done. So all the things that you see down here are like content strategies. I have some writing plans and other things going on here. I have like my individual writing and some of my edits in here because I got through the rough draft of the book and I got some of the edits done. So that was the majority of what got accomplished. And to be honest, I didn't put any sticky notes here about rediscovering my joy, but I got so much back to it that it was totally like worth it, even though some of these other things didn't get done. So some of this stuff ended up still in the doing section. I'm going to reset this today and I will reuse all of these sticky notes because they didn't get done and they're still moving into my goals for Q3. But this is all my edits that didn't get done. This is my newsletter stuff that didn't get done. And then all the rest of these are about Project Phoenix, where I want to re-upload, and I'll be going through my project planner. So I'll explain that in detail later. But this is basically how goal number 1 ended up. And even though there's still a lot that didn't get done, I realized that I was like, had my expectations way too high for getting back into the joy of writing and the habit of writing. So really the most important things got done, which is that I finished my first rough draft in over 2 years. And I'm very proud of myself for that. So I'm celebrating a win there. Okay, goal number 2 is my Heart Breathings goal, to continue to create quality, heartfelt content for Heart Breathings in order to grow my impact and my income. So my targets for this, I have multiple targets because it's all under the umbrella of Heart Breathings. And I like to break it down. So I'll say, my YouTube to 63,000, 64,000, or 65,000. So this is kind of like a good, better, best goal. And I do that because I try to set a good goal that feels pretty reasonable and then stretch goals so that I don't end up like hitting this goal really early in the quarter and then I don't have anything to keep me motivated. But I also don't want to set a goal that's so high that it doesn't feel realistic. So for me, this past quarter, I got to 63,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for that. But I just got there like the day after the quarter began for Q3. So I didn't quite hit it. I was like 18 subscribers shy of the lowest end goal. And my YouTube growth lately has been a lot slower than I expected. So I did not hit a top goal. Same thing with Instagram that I just this week, so we're 3 weeks into Q3. I just this week hit 13,000. So technically I did not hit either one of these goals, but I got close enough. Like I don't beat myself up about being 18 people shy of 63,000 or hitting 13,000 2 weeks later than I planned. Like I'm still celebrating that. I'm sitting here recording this and I hit that goal. So I'm feeling good about it. So I will just take those X's off and I'm going to say that they're wins because I did hit it just a little bit later than the end of the quarter. I have these numbers hidden just for privacy, but I did hit my middle goal of like the good, better, best, the better goal of my course income, and my Etsy income also hit the middle goal. So the good, better, the better goal. So I did pretty well with that. And let me show you my Kanban board for this because I actually cleared every single project and task that I had planned for this particular goal. Yay. So look at this. Nothing, everything got done. I almost never do that. Like I purposely, I think, put more on my plate than I can handle sometimes because it's motivating for me to reach for stretch goals. But I specifically kept my Heart Breathings goal low, like realistic as possible so that I could accomplish everything and put more of my energy toward goal number 1. But look at this. We had double down days. I had a lot of social media posts and growth. I got all my Etsy listings up on time, my planner up on time. We had a very successful best ever June launch of HB90. And I got something like 16 YouTube videos done, I believe. So very successful. I'm so proud of how goal 2 went. Okay, so the final goal is something I call 6 months for life. And so the goal was to live my ideal life by establishing habits and routines that support my joy and promote great physical and mental health. And these are things that I don't necessarily set deadlines for. So I have my two big umbrella goals, my writing career, my heart breathing's career. 6 months for life is really stuff that is going to take me 2 quarters. And it's things like eating healthy, exercising, sleeping better, cultivating joy. And so I don't put a lot of pressure to like get everything done. It's just something that I want to remind myself to do. So I'll show you how that turned out for Q2. So goal number 3, you can see I got a lot done, a lot of stuff here on this bottom part. Some things that didn't get done. And then I also have some stuff that up here that didn't get done at all. So this one that has numbers on it, I know this can be a difficult topic for some people, but I was trying to lose weight. So I lost 13 pounds, got to move all those down. I was also working on a course called the Manifestation Babe Academy that I bought a couple of years ago, and I've been working through the videos. I made it through module 7, so that actually can get moved down. And then 6 months for life, I wrote 6M4L. This is a series of habits that I have. And instead of just writing down every habit and having a different sticky note for every single habit, what I've done is I wrote 6M for L, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And I didn't keep track of whether I did everything perfectly. I just have a sticky note here to remind me every week that I'm working on these habits. I'm working on these habits. And that was the level of low pressure that I needed. If I needed more pressure around those habits, I would have either had a way to check them off on here, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, check it off, or I would have created a different sticky note for every single habit each week. Like I would have put one with water week 1, water week 2, and so on. Or I would have just had this and then tracked it more precisely inside Notion or inside my journal, which is kind of what I did. I have a 6 months for life planner and I tracked my habits in there. I've shown that on my notebook challenge. Also gardening. I wanted to work in the garden at least once every single week. So that got done, but the rest of this didn't get done. Some of it was like doing, rearranging my closet, some of my drawers, hanging some shelves. But for the most part, a lot of that got done. Those that didn't get done will stay up there for next time. And then I'm going to reset all of this. So let's talk about my goals for Q3. Okay, so let's look at the Q3 goals. I personally love to do a new vision board every single quarter. And so I have some of my visuals there. Some of them are for specifically things I want to do this quarter, and some of them are for bigger goals like Kickstarter and Comic-Con, and some of that are just some of my big picture vision stuff for my life. And then I've gone through the process of planning, and I'm not going to go through all of this, but it's basically like a brain dump where I decide all the projects I want to do. I set a schedule for myself of how I want to spend my time, really to see how much time I think I have over the course of the quarter. I set out my entire schedule according to the distractions and time and other things that I've got going on, like going on beach vacation, going to San Diego, speaking at NINC later. And I determine how many hours do I have to work over the course of the entire quarter. And for me, I don't just do it by hours. I do what I call task blocks, which is basically a 30-minute increment. So you can see over on this page, for example, in the mornings here with my writing, I want to write from 9 to 11:30 most days. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 task blocks because it's 2.5 hours split into 30-minute increments. And I will write for 25 minutes and take a 5-minute break, which is the Pomodoro technique. So I will take that and I'll say, how many task blocks do I have to work with, just as an estimate? I don't have to know it. I don't have to track that time. It's just giving me a boundary and saying, let's not put more than 420 hours of work on my plate for this quarter because I've got vacations or I've got other things. And of course, I go into this in depth in my HB90 course, and I give lots of other ways. Like if you're not somebody who likes to follow a schedule, you don't have to. It's just a tool that you can use or not use. So I have 845 task blocks for this quarter, just as an estimate. So then what I do is I set my goals And then I choose projects that I think will help me achieve that goal that I can also complete within those 845 task blocks. So there's a whole process behind it. We won't go in it today, but we will go over my Q3 goals. So first goal is, again, my writing goal. I will focus on joy in all caps and building fresh momentum by increasing sales on my backlist by 20% and publishing a new novel. Now, I went back and forth over, do I want to put a specific amount of money on how much I want to earn on this book or how many sales I want to get on this book? Like I could have said, increasing sales on my backlist and selling my new book by selling 5,000 copies this quarter or 10,000 copies this quarter. But in the end, I decided that I didn't want the pressure of sales on this book. This will be my first book in 2 years, and I just don't want the pressure. It's more important to me to focus on the joy and just getting the book out, and then I'll start working on sales later. So I do want to do some tasks and projects that will help me increase and promote my backlist and getting the new book done. So Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw is my focus, and some things to get my backlist working for me again. So you can see here, I have a bunch of projects that I've put on my plate to help me achieve that. And on this page, I just brainstorm everything, but I'm not necessarily doing all of it because I need to make sure that I don't put more on my plate. And really looking at it now, I'm like, it's still going to be more than what I can do. And that's okay. I'll just get as far as I can get and it'll be fine. Project Phoenix is my sort of way that I'm trying to increase my backlist and get my career momentum going again with my writing after a 2-year break from publishing. So I will share more about that project coming up. Social media, newsletters, edits on my book, publishing my book. I have an influencer campaign. I want to start some more newsletter promotions. I would like to start working on a Kickstarter. So I've got a bunch of tasks and projects here. So this will be, you can see the 526. It's more than half of my task blocks are going to be spent on my writing and promotion for my writing career. So I'm continuing to focus there. Goal number 2 is the same exact goal it's been for a while, to continue to create quality, heartfelt content for Heart Breathings in order to grow my impact and income. Same goal as last quarter and the quarter before that and the quarter before that. What changes for me are these targets. So YouTube, I'd like to get to 64,000 or 65 or 66. These are my good, better, best. So if you love this channel, please support me by subscribing and make sure you share it with a friend. My Instagram, my goal was 13 or more. I hit 13,000 this week. And this is part of why I set a good, better, best goal, because here we are 3 weeks in and I already hit that first goal because I was already pretty close to it. But like, you never know on Instagram how fast your growth is going to be. And I wanted it to feel easy. So I've already hit that first goal, but now I have better targets to head toward. I also have covered it up, but I have a course income goal for HB90 and an Etsy income goal for the quarter as well that are good, better, best. And for my projects, I have things like putting up YouTube videos, doing double down days, virtual retreats. Now you can see here, I don't have times set on the virtual retreat in those live streams because I have a team that's running a bunch of those. So if you want to come join us in the July virtual retreat, it's coming up this weekend and we'll be live. Lots of different people will be live on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll link that down below. It'll be called the Heart Breathings Writing Community, but also because I'm already accounting for that time in my writing. So I don't need to account for it twice. I have HB90 goals, resetting the planner, resetting the course. I want to plan for Preptober. I want to have a new workbook ready for you guys to go before October. I'm going to be speaking at NINC. So different things like that. Then for goal number 3, this is more like my personal goal. So I have like income and career goals for my first 2. Goal number 3 is really all about how can I set up my life to support my productivity and my joy. So goal 3 is to create and follow through on healthy routines and practices that will help me increase my overall energy and mood. And really that word energy is highlighted because this is really the focus for me. I was just recently diagnosed with sleep apnea, which is probably why I'm so dang tired all morning, every day, and have headaches when I nap. I also have PCOS, which is basically a chronic illness, and there's always issues with my energy and PCOS. And so I want to start working on better healthy habits, like better sleep, more water, less stress, more meditation, using my CPAP machine, which I'm still trying to adjust to the idea of having to sleep with a machine, but it's going to be okay. But I want to do all those types of things. Now, I have a question here. How am I going to track this? In the past, I have used an energy score where I'm like, if I use my CPAP machine, I get a point for the day. If I drink enough water, I get a point, and I use a point system. But I'm not always great at tracking my points. And so it isn't always the best way for me if I don't feel like I have a system ready to go. So I'm not sure yet how I'm going to track it, other than I might just ask myself at the end of every week, how's my energy on a scale from 1 to 10? And that might just be enough, as long as I know I'm constantly making progress on this goal, and that'll be good enough. Now, this is a goal that's not just for 1 month. The 6M for L stands for 6 months for life, which is not an official program like HB90, but it's just something I do for myself. And if you want to hear more about this and what I'm doing for 6 months for life, or how I decide what goes into this, these goals of more mood, energy, and different stuff like that, I am talking about that the last couple of coffee chats on my Sarra Cannon YouTube channel. So if you didn't know, I have a second channel that is more for fans, and we do a lot of live streams over there that is just called Sarra Cannon. So if you youtube.com/Sarra Cannon, you will find that other channel. And I'm only 50 subscribers away from 10,000. So come join me over there, come subscribe. But the last video that I did, as well as the one that will go up soon, is about how to change your life in 6 months. And I go through this process. It is a more spiritual process for me than it is like an HB90 process, but you might enjoy it. You might get something out of it. So come check that out. But you can see a lot of these don't have task blocks associated with them, because these are just like morning routine kind of things. And I'm not going to set a time on them. But I have things I wanted to do, like a lot of things that didn't get into the plan and some things that did. But it's basically like spending time with my family, following through on my habits. And I have more of this in a different spot than I do in my HB90 planner. Then, of course, I have my like projects, like my recurring tasks listed here. And I basically went back and forth and tweaked them and did my estimates until I got them within the 845 task blocks available. So according to the way my goals are estimated right now, it should take me 838 30-minute task blocks to achieve my goals. I never do it perfectly. I always still underestimate, but it's a pretty good look at it. So that's how I plan my goals. I set the goal, I break it down into projects. And then the next step for me is I take those projects, like Project Phoenix, for example, I set deadlines for it. I estimate how many task blocks it's going to take me. And then I make a list of all the things that I want to do. I want to get my newsletters going, social media engagement, ads and promotions, upload and redo all my books, and then redesign my website and that kind of thing. Then I will take, like, let's say newsletters, and I will break it down. If I want to send 6 of them, then I will take my sticky notes and I'll write newsletter number 1, newsletter number 2, newsletter number 3, so that I break it down into tiny little task blocks. I also will do things like, if I want to create a template for my newsletter, I will create a sticky note that says create newsletter template. And if I think it's going to take me 4 days to do that, I'd do newsletter template 1, newsletter template 2, newsletter template 3, and 4. And I take every single thing and I break it down into a deadline for when I want to have it done, and into tiny little micro tasks. And the micro task is what makes all the difference for me, because I can very clearly see at any given time what I've got to do, when it's due, and I can move it down the board. And when it's done, it feels like gold. So let's get this Kanban board reset. I'm ready.
You know you're everything to me. Spitting shade in the cold, it's just my bad temper. What am I supposed to do? When the flame's going high with my bad patience, I hate it always falls on you. But you know it's not about our love fading. You know it's not about, yeah. You know it's not about our love
there's the beauty of the board reset. Every task that I want to do to accomplish every project that I'm hoping will help me hit my goal of increasing my backlist sales and publishing my new book. Everything I need to do is on this board. And where I didn't know for sure what I might need to do, because it's going to take some research, is I need to, like, I have this one that says decide Kickstarter ? Create list. So that's a reminder that when I'm ready to start working on a Kickstarter project, I need to create a list of tasks. So otherwise everything is up here. And when I'm ready to start working on something, let's say I wanted to work on my website audit, I would move it to the middle section. So this is to do. This is currently in progress. Traditional Kanban boards, you would only have one thing in progress at a time for each person or each group. I will put everything I'm working on this week, because some days I might wake up on Monday and be like, well, that's not the one thing I want to do, this other, and I'll have multiple projects going at once, and that works for me. But I try to keep this limited to what I'm working on this week. And then I try to make it my goal to put down everything I'm working on this week in this middle section, put it in my planner, put it in my Notion. So I have a lot of redundancies, because that's how my brain works, is lots of reminders. And then when I come in my office, or I look at my Notion, or I look at my planner, I just either check it off when it's done, or I move it down to the bottom. And my goal is to have everything moved off of the middle every week. And I know that if I can consistently do that, I'm going to end up with more stuff on the bottom than on the top. And if everything on the top doesn't get done, I forgive myself. I don't make it mean anything about what kind of person I am. I just move it to next quarter, and it's fine. And that system, that much of a simplicity of putting things on the wall where I remember it, and the process of being able to move it down the board and go, yes, I did it, and see those Post-it notes gather down at the bottom or on the side or wherever you put them, has been life-changing for me. If you don't want to use a visual cue like this on the wall, you could also use something like Trello or Notion that have Kanban boards built into them, or you can just use a plain old-fashioned checklist. There's so many ways to do it, but just having clarity of exactly what tasks you're doing is so helpful, because otherwise you might be like, I don't really know what I want to do. I guess I need to do a newsletter this week. I guess I need to. So you're relying on your memory to try to remember to do everything. And you might be doing only parts of projects. Like you might get one book uploaded over here, take out one ad over here, finish a little bit of edits, and you're just dabbling in a bunch of different projects. But when you have it set up the way that I've shown you today, there's so much synergy of like each project here is building towards that one big goal, and it makes a big difference. So here's my Heart Breathings goals. Here's my 6 months for life goals. And I'm going to try my best to get everything on these two boards completed this quarter. Not so worried about this one, since that's more of a personal goal, but I would love to see those two be completely empty. And in fact, because we're already 3 weeks in, there are several things that have already gotten done. So I'm going to go ahead and move those down now and get started on my next task and finish up editing this video so I can move another video down the board. Okay, so that is it for our Q2, Q3 reset, new Kanban board, new goals. And I'm excited for everything. We've got some vacation coming up, so I might miss a week of videos. I'm going to do the best I can to get something up. But we've got a lot of fun content coming up in August and September, and I cannot wait. And then, of course, we've got Preptober and NaNoWriMo, and the rest of this year is just going to be super fun. So I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll hang out here and chat with me in the comments. Thank you so much for being part of this community, and I will see you in my next video. And don't forget that whatever you feel is inside you, those goals that you most want to go after, you are capable of that. All it takes is just continuing to try to find the things that are going to slowly, bit by bit, step by step, unlock that potential. But you have it there within you, and you have the tools you need. So let's get started working on your dream life. All right. I'm wishing you the best. I'm rooting for you. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye.